John, hello, and thank you so much for taking some time. I know you're very busy and juggling lots of meetings today, so we really appreciate you taking this time to chat about your event and hopefully talk a little bit about how wonderful we are as well at some point
Yeah,
in
of
there.
course, of
Thank you
course.
very much.
It's all right.
Do you want to just start off by just saying who you are, where you work,
Yeah.
and what you do?
So I'm John Rowe. I work for the Stroke Association. I've been there now for 4 years, barring a 3 week. I left for 3 weeks, then came back. That shows you how good the company is. Um, so I'm the event lead, co-event lead for the events team, and recently put in post. So I've been promoted to the co-event lead, and I help run the UK Stroke Forum, which is the largest stroke conference in the UK.
So the Stroke Association, do you mind just telling me a bit about, I mean, I know what the Stroke Association is in principle. My mum, unfortunately, many years ago had a number of strokes. And so I understand that it provides various different services. Do you mind just telling us a little bit about some of the services that are included
Or
as part of the
now you're
association?
asking, Matt. Now you're asking. Like some of the, I put myself firmly away from that part of the organisation. So my weirdly enough, my stepdad had a stroke actually about 15 months ago. So I know a little bit more about the services now. They're a charity to help and support stroke survivors, not just stroke survivors, but the carers. So they provide on support from. I mean, we've gained a lot of support. So my family have used that support, and they're brilliant from contenting. It's not just like the stroke survivors that they look out for. The carers, it's a massive, massive thing for carers, and they completely understand where you're coming from. So, um, from my mum's perspective, I'm just giving you a short history of what happened with my mum. So, her husband, so my stepdad, he had a stroke, and the amount of care that they not only provide for him, but for my mum was brilliant. So always someone on call, and someone to offer advice on financials and that kind of stuff, because it's such a huge thing that happens. Um, and and I've loved working there. I genuinely love working there. It's an absolutely awesome place to work. Everyone's so nice. You know what they say about charities hiring good people? I do
Mm.
generally believe that, and everyone's super lovely there. Lovely chief exec, Juliet's brilliant, and it's a really good culture. It's a lovely culture to work in. Um, I know you asked for information about the services. Uh, I That's the extent of my knowledge. So
Well, that's pretty good. I think I remember my mum, and I don't know where it was from, but she got lots of support with like physiotherapy and stuff, which was kind of
yeah,
invaluable to her, and has helped her to kind of live a very fulfilling and normal life after
yeah,
having
yeah,
what was a
yeah.
major incident
They're
20
really
20
good.
20 years ago.
They're really sorry to hear it, by the way, but they are really. I think I think they know what you. So they know what you go through. So the coordinators and the people that have the helpline, etc. It's not just speaking. Sometimes when you phone up EE or there's other, a internet company or whatever. Well, when you speak to someone at the end of the phone, it feels like you're just speaking to a robot or someone. When you speak to the helpline at the Stroke Association, you're speaking to someone that knows and someone that is compassionate. So, speaking from advice from first-hand experience as well, I can completely. They're awesome. So I know from obviously from you and me that it's a completely valuable service that they provide.
So the event itself, what community are you bringing together? Who's coming to this event? It sponsors
Uh,
exhibitors, the delegates.
yeah.
Who are they?
Pretty much everyone is stroke. That's it. Anyone that wants to come is welcome. Money is important for us. Not that it's the be one end all, but
No,
it's
no, no.
so we've got it's a multidisciplinary event. So we've got nurses, there's doctors, there's practitioners, there's coordinators. We have so many people that come to the UK Stroke Forum. I actually had a call just a minute ago about growing it in terms of apparently we only hit about 2 or 3% of the allied health professionals, or no, there's another particular profession that we're only hitting about 2 or 3% in the UK. So there's definitely scope for us to build and be bigger. We have exhibitors who come, so pharma companies. We have some of our coalition members; they come and exhibit. Last year we had 55 exhibitors, so previously the year after COVID we only had 40, so it's building again back up to pre-COVID levels. So it's such a wide group of people that come to the UK Stroke Forum. And now, so last year was the highest ever. So we had 1,900 people register. Previously, post-COVID, so pre-COVID, we had about 1,400. So it's growing
Okay,
massively. So
amazing.
uh, if I was comparing this to pre-COVID in terms of like who's coming, it's completely different now. There's so many different types of people that come to UKSF, and I don't think we've really kind of hit we're just scraping the barrel. At the moment, we've not even touched the surface of the number of people that we can get to. We are slightly, there's only a finite number of venues that hold bigger, that can hold huge conferences. So we are reaching for that. We need to find a middle ground, but yeah, loads and loads. I don't know whether you know. So there's a European Stroke Conference, there's a World Stroke Conference. We're kind of seen as the baby brother, baby sister to those two.
Mhm.
But we're the noisy baby brother and baby sister, I'll probably say, and want to try and get to
The
their level, maybe.
disruptor.
The disruptor, yeah, maybe.
So you're lots of similar organizations do the event kind of a rotation. I assume you do that. So you different areas geographically across the UK.
Yeah,
Which venues are you using?
so we're using 2023. So in December we used the ICC, say in
Yeah.
Birmingham. Really nice, lovely team, works really well. Um, the year before, so it was at the ACC in Liverpool, and we're running at the ACC again this year. Previous year to that, so we were in COVID, the COVID years, but the previous face to face was in Telford.
Okay.
So it's a very much like a Midlands sort of, like it feels like a Midlands and sort of northwest at the moment, but we are expanding. So um, we're looking at potentially Aberdeen, Belfast for
Yeah.
2025. Liverpool is still in the mix for that. Um, but we want to try and hit all of the devolved nations, because at the moment we do seem to be going to the same cities, which is great for some people who live there. But for other people in Scotland who commute to Birmingham, we need to be fair. And I think it's 2025. Belfast and Aberdeen is the two cities we're looking at. I don't know which one we're going to go with at the moment, but we do try and rotate around the UK. Not every place is a venue that we need, so hence why we do kind of seem to go to the same places. But we're expanding different ways of, now with hybrid, there's different ways of running an event, so we never rule anything out.
It's interesting. Lots of the organisations we work, they seem to do a rotation, which is Liverpool, exactly as you suggested, same
Yeah,
venue. The ICC, the Birmingham venue. SEC Glasgow seems to
yeah,
be really
yeah.
popular
Mm.
in the association sector, but because, like you say, they've got the infrastructure to be able to manage those larger format, larger scale events.
I mean, but Glasgow was one of the ones. So Glasgow was, I ran an event when I was at the Institute of Physics of Glasgow. It's so good. The city is brilliant. Because
Yeah,
also, when you think about a venue, you have to think about the city as well. Because if you're there for 3 days, you don't really want to get your delegates bored. So you need to think of a city which is equally got enough things to do outside of the conference than it does inside of the conference. So Glasgow is always a good pick. Edinburgh is really, it's a real shame for us, because Edinburgh is such an amazing city, but the venue's not quite big enough for us. So
yeah.
Glasgow is brilliant. The new facility in Aberdeen looks absolutely cracking. Like it's so good. We've heard amazing things about that. And ICC Belfast is really really great as well. So we are trying to hit those, Scotland, Northern Ireland. But again, we're in the UK, so sorry, in England. Excel is massive, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
obviously it's huge, but Birmingham, Liverpool, we're kind of rotating between those two at the moment, and obviously Telford before COVID.
Well, good luck with it. So let's talk about a little bit about us, because we're always going to try and come back to us, aren't we? We want a good
Yeah.
pat on the back when we do wonderful things. But um, why did you go through a process of looking at various vendors? I suppose the first one is, why did you consider using us?
Well, I'm going to put my old manager in it here. So Emma Duffy
Yeah, I know Emma.
was Emma's lovely. So she worked with CrowdComms before she joined the Stroke Association, and so we were in that stage where we were going back to face to face, and we were like, things have probably moved on since using the last like registration platform or kiosk we used before. So Emma came in and was like, you have to use CrowdComms. So we've got a procurement team in place at the Stroke Association, and they were absolutely fuming when we went over their head, didn't consult them at all, went straight for CrowdComms, and they were like, usually like protocol, we have to go through them. We showed what you guys were doing, and they were like, okay, fair enough, you know what you're doing. So we pushed ahead with CrowdComms, spoke to James, and I don't know, like the weird thing with James is you feel like you talk to him and you sort of he sort of grabs you straight away. He can't. He's obviously a good salesman, but he sort of grabs you immediately when you talk to him. So unbelievable. Like when I got a really good feel like initially when I spoke to James, and obviously Emma had such good feedback from the last time that she used you, and it kind of built from there. And I'm not going to do like so. originally, we obviously cost was a big thing for us. James was
Mm.
really, really good because he knew that obviously we're a charity. There's certain things we can and can't afford, and he was just really great in terms of making a package that worked for us. And not he wasn't as though like he was pushing things out of the package to make like dropping things out to offset things. We had exactly what we wanted and at the price that we could afford, and it just worked really well. And we had a really good relationship with James early on, and that's how we worked with you. We did a bit of, obviously we looked into you guys before, but Emma was the spark for CrowdComms, and then James pushed it afterwards.
Emma's great, and with James, I think he's just so knowledgeable. He spends so much time
Things.
understanding the technology. He understands what it does, what it can't do, which is as important when you're selling a
Yeah,
product.
yeah.
Where it's going to be best used for different, requirements. So, I think it's the knowledge that enables him to be so efficient, and he works so hard,
He's
and he
brilliant.
and he cares really passionately about his clients. And I think those two things. He is a bit special. When I go and do the trade shows, and I say, I mean, all the guys are special. I'm not going to pick
Yeah,
just James. I'm going to get in trouble here. But they're all special. But you go on site and you hear the wonderful things that people have got to say about him. He's just a rock. He's a really
he's a really
reliable,
top guy.
solid. Yeah, he
Yeah,
is. He's a
he's a
top
really
guy.
nice guy. And also, one thing that we noticed with James is so he asked us about what we need. So we had a chat with James a couple of weeks ago about what we want for 2024, and James was asking us actually, what do you want from this year? Because I know that you're looking to do things slightly differently. How can we? Because I know you guys are developing all the time about different things that you're doing, making it hopefully trying to make it like a one-stop platform. But he was saying, okay, we won't have this at this point, but what we could do is this. So he's always looking for solutions for us, and that's really good because sometimes it's quite frustrating when you're not getting, if you're speaking to a supplier and they just tell you no, you can't do it, there's never a solution to it. But James is always, ever since I've spoken to him, always solution based, and he's always looking for things that we can benefit from. So he'll
Yeah,
listen to this, right? Is
it's.
he
I
gonna
think that's at the heart of everything that we do, is trying to understand what people are looking to achieve. What does success look like? And an
yeah,
event like yours, I can immediately tell that volume is a consideration, driving delegates. So
yeah,
efficient registration, guiding you with ticketing and payment, as well as the onboarding when you get onto the event, is going to be
yeah,
really critical. But I
yeah,
think understanding what those success outcomes are and trying to present solutions is without an agenda. Being able to sit back and just go, okay, what do you want to do? Here is a solution. And
yeah,
being, honest and transparent in terms of what we can do and where there are limitations, and
yeah,
sometimes where we're tweaking it to do what you need it to do. But as long as we're upfront about that and honest, I think it works really well.
yeah.
So you
James,
used us for, we built an app, I believe,
yes,
for the event.
he did. Yeah,
Um, we did lead capture because there's a sponsor element to it.
yeah, there is
Um, Attendance tracking, so we were tracking people into sessions.
sessions. Yeah,
Um, and then we also had our huge big robots on
yeah,
site
yeah, he did. Yeah,
delivering
yeah, he
the
did.
badges. Is
Yeah,
there
yeah.
any element of the technology that stands out, or
So the first year back after COVID, we obviously had all of that, and I should shout out actually. So your on-site here. So Rich was. I want to name drop people here because I think
yeah,
like
do it?
it's quite
Rich
good.
is a superstar.
I honestly incredible. Like he is. When you get 1,600, 1,800 people, so 1,600 people back in ACC Liverpool, and then 1,800 people coming at Birmingham, naturally all at one time, you get a little bit skeptical getting people in and making things work. Rich never once said it wasn't possible. He's got like a team of 3 or 4 there, and he just blitzes it. And I never like. The first year I was a little bit nervous, and I remember Emma waking up the first morning. Was like, I am quite nervous about getting 1,600 people in the ACC.
Yeah.
And then it just because of how the ACC worked, we got people in, but there was a slight delay. But that was more just like a bottleneck that was caused by the venue, etc. Rich sorted it like that though. He found a solution again about registering people, and then the ICC this year. I spoke to him and said, "Oh, we've got an extra 200 people. How's that going to work?" And he just says, "Honestly, John, don't worry. Like it's sorted. It's fine." And then 1,800 people were in like that. And in the opening plenary, it's done. And the kiosk works so well. And I think nowadays people are so used to using those kiosks that it's almost a no-brainer to use them because now I think it's registering via behind a registration desk and collecting your badges that way is probably a little bit dated. This seems a bit more modern, and Rich and the team are so good at actually making it work. Because I think he realizes actually that people know what they're doing now, so it's just encouraging them to follow through with their gut about this is how you do it. Yeah, sure, this is how you do it. So Rich and team were brilliant on site. We did use the lead catcher. So again, Rich is really good about for the exhibition stuff. He goes through and speaks to all of the exhibitors and talks them through how to do it. And I thought that when he said to me at the start, he's like, "That's what we do," and I'm like, "What?" Like you go around and ask you speak to each individual one. I thought that would be something that our team or we communicate to before, which we did. But Rich then goes beyond that and then goes to each stand and tells them how to do it. Um, and it was just brilliant. And all of our exhibitors were obviously, I think they just like, you can be told something over email. Likelihood is they probably aren't even looking at the email. So to be actually told on site how to do it is way better for us. And then actually actually getting people into rooms was something we tried last year, and it worked. It definitely worked, but I felt like it was it was probably due to the impatience of our of our delegates. Some people just wanted to get in, and also due to the scheduling that we created in the program. We barely gave people time to sort of take a breath. Before you know it, you're queuing up again for another session. So it was more our scheduling that impacted that. But in terms of the way it should work, absolutely brilliant. And we got really good analytics from that about who's attending certain sessions on days 1 and 2. And then the app, um, love it. It was like we had an app beforehand and we didn't, it was a really good company that we used, but we didn't utilize it properly. And then when we spoke to Matt, who again name dropping, who's
Oh,
absolutely
he's a
amazing.
superstar.
Like I speak to Matt sometimes, and like he's almost like laid back, lying down, like that kind of laid back. You know, someone who doesn't get flustered by anything. And I know that I'm awful for emailing, so I say to him all the time, like I am so sorry for like cramming your inbox. And I know he's working on different events as well, so it's not just me that's emailing him. And he just says, "Yeah, John, no, all I get is this email back saying, 'Fine, John, yeah, it's fine, it's done, done.'" Like that kind of. There's never any questioning. Do you know what I mean about say why you should do things? And it was brilliant. The app is we got amazing feedback from the app. Amazing feedback. Really simple to look at and use. We had the on demand this year, which Matt was really good about uploading. So I have zero complaints about it. The first year, actually in 2022, the app was the big talking point, as like just because of where we came from. Everyone loved it, but also Rich on the registration desk had people coming up to him and asking, "So, can we use you for our event?"
Yeah.
So it goes to show how amazing both were in terms of the delivery on site. So, and again, same this year, just fab.
Well, I'm just so incredibly proud of them hearing you say
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah,
amazing. I
yeah,
mean, the on site, we always say to the guys, I remember I used an example. I went on site years ago. We were managing the on site badging, and there was a separate app company. I'm not going to say who it was because that's
yeah,
really unprofessional. I'll tell you afterwards
yeah,
when the cameras aren't on. But they were so passive, and their responsibility, they literally saw their responsibility. They've been paid the whole day to be there. They sat at the desk and they were just trying to help people get onto the app. There was no enthusiasm
yeah,
about it, why there's a benefit to it, really guiding the users. And they were asked to support the events team and literally said, "We just do app." And I
yeah,
remember being horrified. And this is not a small company. This is a big organization, big, very successful organization. And I remember going back and working with the support teams, and Kim will know this well, that if you're on site with CrowdComms and you're being paid for the day to be there, you're available to work for the day. If
yeah,
that
brilliant.
means that we're helping out dressing tables or taking chairs away after an
Yeah,
event or guiding people into rooms,
yeah,
just be there and contribute.
yeah,
Be there and support the events team. That's our responsibility. Don't
yeah,
treat it as I'm doing kiosk, my job is to get you
yeah,
a badge.
yeah,
Yes, definitely get everyone a badge. Do it really well. Do it with a
yeah,
smile on your face.
yeah.
But then make sure that you support them. So hearing from you that they are doing that is absolutely fabulous.
Rich
Just
did.
gonna
Sorry, I was going to
sorry.
say quickly on that. Rich was actually so on site. One example was so we had to move some stuff. Rich was behind the desk. He helped set up a polling thing for the app, which is not his realms of, and he also did something else which I can't quite remember in terms of more logistical things. That just again shows you like that was not Rich's domain, but he still helped because he's just a nice guy.
He is a good guy. No, that's amazing to hear it. On the kiosk, to help you out next year, we've actually released new kiosk software. It prints badges much quicker.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
we've got kind of better digital assets that we can use in videos. And a big one is, it's not an exciting change, but it's a big one.
Okay.
It actually works offline as well. So even if your
Oh,
venue
yeah.
loses all internet, it will cache all the data. You'll still be able to do name search. You'll still
No,
be able to use
fab.
your QR code. So internet can be an issue, but as long
Yeah,
as you've
yeah,
had internet when we set them up and we
yeah,
get one badge printed, the
yeah.
rest of all of the machines will work
Ah,
offline. So that's just a safety mechanism.
reassuring.
The other thing that would be useful, and I thought about this for your event, is it sounds like a sales pitch. I'll leave this to James actually, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm too far down now.
Yeah,
I've gone
yeah.
down here, so we're going to continue. But I think it'd be useful for your event is that we're making the kiosk work harder. So we're just building new software. So your kiosk will do your badging, but they're huge, big digital screens,
Mm,
aren't they?
yeah.
So there's loads of kind of digital real estate. But we're now building something called live display module, where you can have the agenda, the
Ah,
activity
yes.
feed, you can have your abstracts so that people
Yeah.
can click on and have a digital way to view abstracts on the touch screen. So the concept is make your kiosk work harder.
Ah, lovely.
And it means again that just like our people who turn up and are involved for the whole day, our robots, our technology, we're
Yeah,
going to expect the same from them. Keep working
brilliant.
hard. Keep doing what you're supposed to do for the whole day.
That's actually really good because, and I spoke to James about this, and I did know it was coming. And actually, the more I think about it, if you think you've got, let's say you've got 10 kiosks, not all of those kiosks are going to be useful on days 2 and 3, maybe because you've got,
Exactly.
let's say, 90% of people through. You can use 4 of them for other purposes, so advertising, for people to look at the program, for an abstract. So that's actually really good for saving costs because we could pull like using another screen for, we don't need to use that screen longer because we can use one of your kiosks to display the information that we had already for that. So saving money.
All
This
right.
is
Well, we'll turn them landscape for you. We'll make them look
that's,
amazing. Rich can get out the I was going to say screwdrivers, but it'll be a spanner.
he seems to do
Get
everything
this.
else. So
He'll do it. He'll work it out. He'll work it out. So, look, it's been an absolute pleasure. We really look forward to supporting you for
thanks,
your
Matt.
December event. Just one final thing. We've always worked here at CrowdComms on I'm going to talk commercials very quickly, John, but don't feel you have to give away too much.
Sure.
But we've always focused on being kind of here's your event, here's your price to run that event kind of organization. It's worked really well for us, and there's a big clamor from other organizations to price in a different way, and we're just trying to be flexible, as we've discussed previously. You do a number of other events throughout the year, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We have so the UK Strawberry is our biggest event, but we hold, sorry, excuse me, we hold a range of other events. Probably not to this size, but we do hold around about sort of 15, 20 other similar events, meetings, which could mean that we could use CrowdComms for other purposes and other events going forward.
Well, we'll make sure that we ask James to have a chat with you and look at that package that we can put together to
Yeah.
make it all viable. But I mean, if it's not viable, we're going to do our absolute best to smash out the event in December. But fingers crossed, we can do more for you.
Yeah, and I think we're really open to that. I think one of the things that we and our events team at the moment, we are expanding and we are trying to do different types of events. So we've got a new event potentially coming up in Northern Ireland this year. So we and again, because you are so useful on site and so useful from top to bottom with us throughout the course of our event journey. I hate all that sort of stereotypical blurb when it comes to events, but you are. But so if there is scope for us to use you for more than just UKSF, we will 100% be involved in that and like to push that. And I'm sure James has got one eye on that already, probably.
Probably has. Wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me. Look, you've been an absolute superstar. Thank you
Cheers,
so
Matt.
much for your
No
time,
worries.
and really enjoyed it. And we love supporting you guys. Thank you so much again.
No, thank you, Matt. Thanks very much. Cheers.